Hey,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm doing good. It's lovely to see you again.
Yes. Wow, we got people waiting. Let's see.
Okay, I see Sherry and Kilco and Adam. Thanks for coming in, you guys.
I give me just one second. I'm thinking I'm echoing. Are you getting feedback from me, Jen?
Yes, I am a little bit.
If you want to go through chat,
Sure.
I will figure it out.
Yeah. Hi, Sherry and Kilco and Adam and Lilith. It's lovely to see you. Glad you came by. Independent Joe. Cheers to you, sir. Biking Bourbon. That sounds like fun. Do you do it together? All right. Lilith saying hi to everybody. All right. Hi, Emily. How are you doing? Hi,
We're getting
evening,
there.
James. And what is everybody drinking this evening? Okay,
It is not me without technical difficulties.
it's all right. So before the Old Carter, I'm actually starting with the Chattanooga whiskey bottled and bond, just to start my palate out this evening. All right, C. Jackson, cheers to you. Thanks for coming by. Sugar Kitty, how you doing?
All right.
Hot ramen, thanks for
Ha.
coming by. Russell's tenure, that sounds delicious.
Okay, is that a little better, Jen?
Yes, perfect. I don't
Okay,
get any echo.
awesome.
You're good.
And now I missed. I was listening to all the people that are in here. Hello, everyone.
Yeah. Hi, Clifton.
Clifton, it was so great meeting you this weekend. Oh my gosh, you're such a doll. I had a blast. And of course, Kilco was there as well. We did some hanging out with him.
So it sounds like you got to meet some of the people that are in the chat. So that's always interesting to meet people face to face instead of in virtual.
Hmm. It's there's nothing like it, especially when you get to hang out for periods of time and taste different things and visit, put face to the name. So to let everybody kind of know what we're doing, we figured that coming on the back end of the trip to the Bastards Ball in Austin, kind of recap some of the things I got to taste, the people I got to meet, um, and at the same time, I honestly have never had Old Carter. I've never had the opportunity. And Julie and Dan Like sent me a flight of 4 samples. So Jen has some at her house, different ones. We're going to all try different ones and just kind of see what we think of them and take you guys along for the ride.
Absolutely. I haven't had Old Carter either. Cheech said it's good. I've heard a lot of good things from Julie and Dan as well. So I'm looking forward to giving it a taste.
So, those of you in chat, how many of you have had Old Carter and how many of you have a favorite Old Carter? Because that's what I'm curious about. There's so many different ones, and I hear different stuff about all of them. It
Right?
kind of seems like you either love it or you hate it.
Well, everybody has their own palate. Deathless Dogs, cheers. Good to see you.
Cheers.
Thanks for coming. And who else did you get to meet at the Bastards Ball?
So Hot Buttery Rolls, he picked us up from the airport so that we didn't have to do the whole Uber thing. And we got in a night early. So we just kind of hung out with him down in the lobby and had a couple drinks. And I fell in love with the Willet Blacken. Oh my gosh, it's so good. that I may have hunted it down and bought a bottle while I was down there. Um, and let's see, some of the channels that was there. There was, well, Bourbon Battalion Bobby was there, which was kind of cool because him and I chat a lot. So to meet him in person was super spectacular. Um, Clifton from Bourbon Bites was there.
Awesome.
Well, Dan and Sean from the Bourbon Junkies, of course. We did some hanging out with them, which was, we saw them down there 2 years ago. So it was super fun to kind of reconnect in person. Let's see. Whiskey Crusaders, Matt, Will, and Sarah, they were all there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And gosh, there were so many. There was Rock Gut Review,
Oh,
Erica and Ed.
yes, Ed.
And oh my gosh, if you've never spoken to Erica, she is a freaking sweetheart. She's absolutely adorable. There was Scotch Test Dummies, Scotch for Dummies, which Mark, I spent some time with him. He actually gave me a Scotch that I liked,
Oh,
which
well, that's
is
good.
huge. It's huge. Yeah. He just sat there with me and listened to what I do and don't like about Scotch. And we found two of them that I like, that I'll probably go check out if I can find them. I know Will found one for me today. So,
I'm
who
not
else was?
very skilled on scotch at all. I've only had one, and
Mhm.
that was a recommendation from Ken. And it was okay. It's kind of like the bad taste that you keep going back for because you can't figure out if you like it or not. So I finished it, and it was okay, but I haven't gone back to it since then. So I might need to try something different, maybe.
Yeah. So, gosh, what is that one that he got? I think it's back here. Oh, Dalmore. I liked that one. So,
Very nice.
yeah, Mr. Whiskey Shits, there's a lot of shorties. So,
So is it like a multiple day thing, or is it just like a one day thing and then you hang out with who you've met? Like, how does that whole thing work?
so it's the actual ball was on Sunday this year because they had something come up on Saturday. So we came in late Thursday night just because we kind of wanted to see Austin a little bit. But most people were there like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and kind of go taste different whiskeys, go different places, hang out in the lobby of La Quinta. And it's like the biggest whiskey tasting that costs absolutely nothing because everybody just brings their bottles.
Oh, that's
Um,
nice.
yeah, so like Scotch on the Bayou was there too. Kilco was there. We went and got breakfast at a place called Bangers. Me, Will, Hot Buttery Rolls, Kilco, Mama Kilco, and it was a blast. It was a really good time.
Very nice. So, what all did you get to drink overall? I'm sure you drank a bunch over the days, but what were the things that stood out to you that you hadn't had before or you've revisited that you want to drink again?
There was so much. I mean, the biggest thing that stood out to me was some of the Scotch. There was a They had the Midwinter Night Dram 9 that I hadn't had yet. Ironically, when I got back home, there was one hand delivered for me, which was
Ooh,
awesome.
I like those a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then there was, oh my gosh, Jen, put me on the spot. There was so much.
I know
But
I'm sure there was a ton because everyone wants to bring their favorites to share, which is an awesome experience. So I'm sure
yeah.
you can get lost in how much you've had over the
Well,
days.
and when I was at the ball,
Thanks, Big Vic. Cheers.
cheers. There was an iron root that I really liked. It was a collaboration. Oh my gosh. I knew it was it's called Saints Alley, and it's a collaboration that they did. And they had a few of them like finished in port. But the one that I liked was that it was finished in an Armagnac barrel, and it was absolutely delicious. And of course, I can't get it, so they just gave me stuff that I can't have.
Of course.
But it wasn't too sweet on the back end. It just kind of blended through where some of those finishes can be really potent on the end. And this was just really cohesive through the whole thing. I loved it.
And so Iron Root, is that out of Texas?
Yep. So at the ball, it was all Texas distilleries
Okay.
that come together. Um, and then the other one that I can't get yet because they haven't released it. It comes out in like 2 weeks. It was from Lone Elm, and it's a honey finished. So apparently, I was on a finished kick that day. Um, but the honey finished, I was so worried it was going to be too sweet, and it just blended all together. And it seemed to be the favorite of just about everybody that I was kind of the group I was walking with. So, um, hey, Mike Stahl, hello. Um, Independent Joe is here. Do not forget that on Monday he's got the last part of his fundraiser that he's doing. He just did it Monday night for the first one, and the second one is coming up this Monday. So, um, and we could speak more about that. But yeah, there was so many people that you could pick their brain. I met Irene Tan. She sometimes on Instagram you would know her as Whiskey Mentors. She owns the Canterbury liquor store on the East Coast, and I've never had a bad pick from her. I was so excited to meet her because every pick I've gotten from her just nailed it home. Have you ever gotten a pick from her?
No.
I'm going to have to hand deliver you a couple of tastes, and I think you'll really like it.
I'm down to try it. Definitely,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, because you like Starlight, right?
I haven't had it yet. Cheech hasn't opened it.
Oh, I got some amazing Starlights from
Oh,
her.
I have been corrected. It is opened, but
Oh,
I have not had any.
okay. So yeah, and then she may have had a couple of things that she hasn't put out yet that I got to try. She's always done single barrel, and she did a blend, and so I got to try that. It was fantastic. I'm excited for that to come out.
Nice. Hey, Bourbon. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming.
And Bourbon is actually the person who kind of told me how great her picks were, and yeah, he's the one who kind of turned me on to her palette, I guess. So.
Okay.
Okay, so what's the first Old Carter that you're pouring?
Okay, so the first one I'm having is the Old Carter Batch 10,
Okay,
116 proof.
is that the Old Carter bourbon?
Yes.
Okay, then I will pour. They sent me an Old Carter bourbon batch 7. So we will. Okay, and you've never had one either, right?
No, so the Old Carter 10 bourbon, with the release notes they said was high corn, straight bourbon whiskey with plush lush golden creme brulee, creamy Werther's butterscotch on saddle leather, chocolate covered dried figs in a library where someone is smoking a pipe.
Okay.
So I probably won't get that, but we'll see. It smells
Okay.
really good.
What do you get on the nose?
Butterscotch.
Okay.
I get that. I get the creme brulee on it. I don't get the chocolate though.
And it's all like perspective of your memory and what I think what you put a note to as far as a memory goes, in my opinion.
Well, it tastes delicious. I'll say that.
Do you get something different on the palate, on the mouth?
I get more of the fig on the finish.
Okay. Okay. And do you like it?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
actually very tasty. I can see
Okay,
why Julie likes them.
so I'm doing the bourbon batch 7, 117 proof. You know what it smells like? Like Dr. Pepper? I don't know. Yeah, like Dr. Pepper and there's something else there. Maybe like pie crust. Okay.
Baked goods.
Yeah, but not like the actual pie, just like the crust of it.
Okay, so like a doughish kind of smell.
And for those of you that have never watched me before, I never call the notes by what they're supposed to be. It's always something weird. Oh, that's good. Hey, my hubby's in here. Okay,
Awesome.
it's not Dr. Pepper. It's like root beer float.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's
You
a
know,
good
like how
one.
it kind of gets crispy on the when the ice cream gets that root beery crispy stuff.
Yeah,
That's
I know exactly what you're talking about. That's a good one.
Bourbon Bites loves Dr. Pepper. Sorry, it's root beer float on the mouth.
Yeah. Dr. Pepper is
And
good though.
but now I do get the baking spices.
Mm.
And is it
I
weird if
yeah.
I say I get nuts in there too?
No. Because now that I go back and smell it, like it's more on the glass, I get more of that leather that they were kind of putting in the description. I get more of that kind of smell now that I've had it and let it sit a little.
Okay. And that happens to me. Plus, sample bottles, I did kind of let them open up a little bit, but um wow, that's I like that. I was so scared I was going to taste it and be like, "Sorry, Julie, I hate Old Carter."
Well, everybody's palate's different, which is good because there is a huge amount of different types of whiskeys out there. So there is something for everyone. You just have
Hmm.
to keep trying until you find it.
Hmm.
Sometimes it can be overwhelming with the amount and the different types and all the different, notes they tell you can find and things. So I think
Hmm.
just to try to keep it simple, just keep tasting stuff. And if you like it, then just take note and keep on cruising with it.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's why no matter what someone says they get off something, I don't think it's wrong. I think that it's attached to something that you've tasted before or smelled before. And as your palate changes and expands, so are the notes that you get off stuff.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And also where you've been, your experiences, all that kind of things do definitely feed into your palate
Hmm.
and memories as well.
Well, and especially people that are maybe, in different spots in their whiskey journey, maybe they're adding water to it, or maybe they have it on ice. Maybe they're not at that point where they drink it neat, and all that changes it. Hey, Whiskey Nose, how you doing? Glad you're here. Um, but oh my gosh. So, and that was one thing that I loved about the going down to Austin was just getting to taste stuff, and then taking a break and then coming back so you don't blow your palate, um, and not
Hi,
having to go
Jenny.
buy a bottle,
Nice to see you.
not having to buy a bottle or ask someone to hand deliver you a sample, or go through that. Um, Mike Stahl, as women of whiskey, I'm wondering what it's like to be married to awesome whiskey men, just so I understand my wife better. I think Jen and I did pretty good in that department. I think they've both helped us along our journey quite a bit.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Cheech has been a big proponent on my side, and I appreciate it very much.
And I don't think either one of us could have pulled this together without them helping us.
And I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't. Hi,
Um,
Tim. Thanks for coming. Cheers.
hey, so at the Bastards Ball, so we got in late Thursday night and we hung out with Hot Buttery Rolls. Got up with Kilco, Mama Coco, Hot Buttery Rolls, went and had breakfast and kind of walked down Rainy Street and went to this funky little area called Rainy Street. It's all these old houses that they converted into bars. And so it's
Oh.
like going to a bunch of house parties. And just checked that out and kind of, had a great day. And then went back, went for some great Tex-Mex, and then went back to La Quinta, spent some time with some friends, made it kind of an early night for me. Um, but it was so cool because it was such a smaller crowd that night. And then Saturday is kind of when everyone showed up. Um, wow,
We have 41 people watching. That's awesome.
thanks everyone for coming. Oh my gosh, it's so
Hi,
great to hang out with
Adriana.
friends.
Thank you.
Hey, Adriana's in the house.
Hi, Jeffrey Wack. Thanks for coming.
I like this. The more that I sip on it, the more I can taste that root beer float.
That's a good
Absolutely.
note, though.
Oh.
Hi,
Um,
Scott.
so then let's see. So Saturday, um, what did we do Saturday?
Must have been a good one.
Oh, I hung out with my husband. Yeah, it was a good one. Sorry, William. No, I had a great time. We wanted to have a day where him and I were kind of together. So we were kind of low key. We hung out. We went to this little Cajun place that we'd gone to 2 years ago that was phenomenal, and it wasn't phenomenal anymore.
Oh,
So we did some whiskey hunting instead and went back and hung out with everybody at La Quinta. Um, One of the best things about the whole thing was sitting with friends, specifically, Brian and Nick and Belle Biv DeVoe but DeVoe, I can never say his name right. Dan and Sean and Hot Buttery Rolls. It was just, you can't help but have a good time and drink good whiskey and smoke cigars and do all those things that we haven't got to do in a couple of years.
having good company and good drinks is always a really good time, especially when you're with people that have a common interest in whiskey and they can share knowledge and things that they've tasted. It does definitely add to the experience.
Yeah. Cheers, Kevin. Um, but the fun part was Chris Hot Buttery Rolls and William and I went to a place called the Continental Club, and it had great music. And I may have gotten them each out on the dance floor at one point in time.
Very
Uh,
nice.
it was fun. It was a good time.
Is there any
I
pictures of that?
I hope so. I really hope so. Yeah.
Hi,
And that
Icy
was
Eats
probably my
It.
late night, was doing that when we did that. That was a blast. We
That
met
sounds like
tons of
fun.
fun, laid back people.
Nice. So is it
Okay.
really held at the La Quinta? Like, is that like the main
Technically,
spot?
technically, no.
Oh,
Technically, they don't know we're coming every year. We just kind of show up. This year, they actually brought in a barbecue person with like a whole pig. I mean, like carving it up in the middle of the lobby where people check in and out. Um, yeah, it was fantastic. So they see people carrying in luggage carts of bottles and setting it up and bringing in barbecue, and they didn't seem to mind too much. We weren't too rowdy. It was more of a laid back hangout, taste stuff kind of thing. But the ball itself is held at the Crowded Barrel, which is Rex and Dan from the Whiskey Tribe. They put this on. And so you go basically Sunday, and they have opening ceremonies. They have all the distilleries there. Hey, Jason, glad you're here. Um, and then they have the YouTubers that get to kind of promote themselves. They've got tours of the distillery and the tower, and it's just kind of like a big fun thing for the whiskey community. But they actually have a distillery there. They have a school there. It's just a fantastic place.
nice. So was there a lot of distilleries around where you were, or was it just that one specifically?
There's a lot of distilleries down there by Austin. Most of them, they came there and set up tables. Like, think of like vendor booths for whiskey. That's
Okay.
exactly what it was. Just free pouring samples to try stuff and educating you. And it was a good time. I got to see Gretchen from Iron Root, which is always fun. Um, so that got over around 7, and then Dan and Sean and Chris and Will and I, we went out and had some fantastic Italian. But when you go out anywhere with Dan and Sean from the Bourbon Junkies, you have to be prepared for all the cute girls to come up and want their pictures taken with them.
Oh, that's
Because
funny.
they're really starting to, people are recognizing them, and can we get a picture? Couples are coming up and wives are saying, I watched this with my husband. It's really cool to see. 2 years ago, you didn't see that many women going, hey, I
Even
watched.
Sean?
Well, no, I'm just kidding. Of course, Sean.
Just kidding, Sean.
Um, let's see who else was. Eric Waite was there. Scott Mooney, who we see in chat sometimes, he was there. I got to meet him. Fantastic guy. Oh, cool thing. And I was going to bring one out to show you guys, and I totally forgot. There was a guy there named Carter, and he made these Glencairn carriers that like screw together so it protects them from breaking.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and it took, I think, what did he say? Did he say it took 12 hours to make each one, like on a laser printer
Oh,
or
wow.
a
Okay.
3D printer? But he had enough. He had like 300. He had enough for anybody who wanted one. And he just made it for the Whiskey Tribe community.
Oh, very nice.
Just because. I just thought that was so cool. I just
Yeah,
thought it
there
was so
seems
cool.
to be a lot of giving and supportive people within the community itself that I've noticed. So it's actually been a pretty nice experience.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a guy there with a weird mustache. Yeah, there was. And his mom, who was adorable. Cannibal
Yes,
Corpse
Jenny,
Rule.
they do.
Okay, should we move on to our next one?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
What are you pouring next?
Okay, so I'm having the Old Carter Batch American Whiskey, number
Okay.
5.
Wait, the Old Carter American Whiskey #5?
Yes.
I have that.
Oh,
Let's do that
perfect.
together.
All right.
Again, these were sent to me by the likes, and I've been saving them for the right reason or person to drink them with. So this worked out really good.
Okay, so the tasting note, or the notes from the distiller said that it's a high corn straight American whiskey.
Okay.
This is eating bread pudding with caramel sauce in a cedar forest of graham crackers.
What? A cedar forest of graham
A
crackers?
cedar forest of graham crackers.
Okay.
Yeah. Slovenian hazelnut bread, cinnamon, buttery candied orange peel, and never ending finish.
Okay.
It's pretty complex.
All right. Well, let's see what I do with it. You go first. What do you get on the nose?
I do get the hazelnut.
On the batch 5? See, I get orange marmalade.
That's probably from they say candied orange peel, so that's definitely
Oh,
in there
okay. Yeah,
too.
that could be it. I think of like that orange marmalade that my grandma used to put on my toast.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. If you haven't, please do hit the like button. New channels like us, that's like the best support you could do is just take a minute and hit that thumbs up. That would,
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
We have 59 watching. I appreciate every one of you coming by and
Oh my
hanging out with us
gosh.
this evening.
That just makes my heart so happy. That makes my heart happy. Thank
Yeah,
you guys for hanging with us.
absolutely.
Do you get butter on the nose at all? Like butter?
I get graham cracker,
Do
and I
you?
really like butter. I wish I could say.
Hmm.
Nope, I get the
I can
hazelnut and I get graham cracker.
I can see the hazelnut now. Going back to it.
Hmm.
Hot Ramen says that's all he eats on his toast.
Yeah.
What, orange marmalade? Okay. Let's go in. Two 1090. Cheers. Cheers to you, sir.
I definitely get the cinnamon more when I drink it than I did on the nose.
They're very similar though. Sometimes you know something and then you taste it and they're like miles apart. They're pretty spot on. I definitely get the cinnamon. That's like the first thing that hits you is the
It
cinnamon.
does.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
I mean,
good.
it is 134.9 proof.
Yeah, it
So,
is. It is a
yeah,
little hot.
a little hot. Tastes good
Or,
though. There was 2,431 bottles produced out of
do,
13 barrels.
Do you get chocolate?
No, and for some reason, I've tried to find that note in other whiskeys that people say they smell it, and I just can't get the chocolate note.
I can't remember. Did it say chocolate in those tasting notes that you read off?
No, it was
Oh.
more, it was a caramel sauce, graham crackers, hazelnut bread, cinnamon, and buttery candied orange peels.
Yeah, at least I got the butter and the orange.
You definitely did. And, the cinnamon, because the cinnamon's definitely there.
Oh yeah, the cinnamon's like right there. And the finish isn't great. The finish kind of just falls flat, I
I
think.
agree.
But
It just
but
ends.
yeah, it's just done. A little bit of that orange comes back around, but other than that, it's not great on the finish.
No. I did want to take a moment to remind everyone that next Wednesday is our Criminals and Cocktails kickoff of our series, and it will be on the
Yay!
27th.
And Jen is doing a bunch of the research.
Yes.
I'm doing kind of the beginning part. And I'm so excited. I can barely wait. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
I
it's
wish
going
we
to be a
could
lot of
do
fun.
it. I wish we could do the criminals and cocktails every week, just because I love it so much. But there's just so much research that goes into it.
Yeah,
You
it's
want
not
to tell the
possible.
story correctly. You
Yeah,
want
and you
the
don't want to
truth.
get anything wrong or, misspeak on something like that, because you don't want to offend anyone that might be attached to it or anything like that. So you definitely want to keep it like to the facts, to the point, what took place, and not add any like embellishment or anything like that. Just say how it happened, what
Mm-hmm.
happened, and then discuss from there.
Did William? Are you getting a lawn chair and going at midnight for some Stag Junior? There's things I just don't know about my house.
Yeah,
Um,
it's Cheech takes trips to Georgia and stuff like that, and I don't know what he comes home with. And sometimes he's like, "Oh, I got this really good bottle." I'm like, "Awesome, let's taste it sometime."
oh, I have a question for you.
Sure.
I didn't know this was a thing. I mean, I live in Idaho, um, and I know like we put like a lime in our certain beers or lemon or whatever. We went to brunch at this place called the Iron Cactus, and it was Nick and Serena and Bove and Dan and Sean and Chris and William and I. And all of a sudden, I'm doing mimosas because it was like $5 for your first mimosa and $1 for the ones after that.
Oh, that's a good deal.
So I'm like, woohoo! But they were doing these dressed beers. Do you guys dress your beers in Florida?
No.
I had never seen anything like it. Um, oh my gosh, thanks, Jason. Oh my goodness. We're trying, we're working on it. um, so they take I think it's a lime, and they rub it all over the outside of the beer bottle. And then they put salt all over it, like you would put on a margarita, and then stick a lime in top of it. I don't know. All
I'm
I know is
confused.
every time I looked over at Chris, he was licking the outside of the bottle, making direct eye contact with Sean. It was the most uncomfortable thing ever,
That's
but
fantastic.
hilarious. Oh,
No, we don't dress our beers here. Maybe throw a lime in a Corona. Most people that I know drink PBR tall boys out of a can, so we
yeah.
don't dress this up.
So, okay. So it's not just me because that was weird as shit for me.
No, no, I've never heard to rub salt on your beer bottle.
In chat, do you guys dress your beers with big chunks of salt on the outside of it? Do you guys do that? I mean, because they seem to know exactly what it was. Like they, I don't know. It's weird.
Maybe it's a Texas thing.
Maybe it's a regional thing. I mean, yeah.
We'll have to
So,
ask Chris because I never heard of that.
but it was a great time. That was a great food, and it was a lot of fun. I'm honestly going to say some of the best parts were just hanging out with people and laughing so hard that you're trying not to like have an accident. It was so much fun.
Well, yeah, sounds
Jenny
like a good
says
time.
she dresses her beer with her lips. Okay.
Well, that's a good one.
Apparently, so does Chris. So
certain
I'm gonna
beers.
go
Okay.
back. I'm gonna go back to this.
Yes, Tim. I'm glad that you also do not dress your beer.
Right. Okay. So
Old man
Adriana, I
Joe.
was totally thinking when he asked for a dressed beer, I half expected to have like a white napkin wrapped around it or something like that.
Yeah, that has to be a Texas thing.
I'm
I
thinking
don't
so.
I don't know. It doesn't sound very sanitary.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, do they just dip it in the salt that everybody dips their salt in? I mean, that's weird. I don't
So
know.
Adriana, you like put a little dress on it, maybe a PBR shirt, some shorts, something like that. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
This one's definitely warmer. This the batch five. Of course, it's what 130, almost 135 proof.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Skirt and high heels on a beer pass. Yeah.
Nice sugar kitty. Yeah, I don't think I drink it either.
Oh.
Have a good
So
night, IC86.
So I think I like the bourbon better than the American Whiskey Batch 5 that we just did. Um,
I like the bourbon as well. I
yeah,
like that one better.
I think it was a little more cohesive. It was a little more, and it had a longer finish. Like that finish kind of went on.
Yeah, I definitely like the finish on the first one. Definitely.
Hmm.
The one that we just had, it was very flat. It was like hot cinnamon and then flat.
Did you see what Adriana said? I like my beer as naked as the day it was born. Yeah. Um, what is the other one that you have?
Okay, so the other one that I have is the Old Carter Straight American Whiskey Batch 6.
Okay, I have batch 3,
Okay.
so I can do that one.
All right, so
Uh,
the Batch 6 notes is the high corn straight American whiskey.
okay.
Creamy, deep caramel for days, age showing off in a leather layer. Smoky barbecue burnt ends hits later. Spicy but buttery, huge flavor, and long, long finish.
Long finish.
Long, long
Okay.
finish. And it's 134.6 proof.
Let's see. This is, holy crap. This is the batch 3 at 138. So I probably should have done the Old Carter Rye batch 3 first, but we're going to live on the edge. Why not? Let's see. So hot ramen can sip a beer while looking at an orange. So Hot Buttery Rolls may have gotten a few drinks in him at La Quinta and ate an orange like an apple. So he was
Oh,
walking around with orange in his beer, having a blast, having the time of his life, living his best life.
that
So
is
much fun.
fantastic. It sounds like a good time.
Uh, Steve Burko wants to know the favorite pours from Texas. So, there was so much I got to try, but as far as the Texas distilleries go, I really liked the more finished whiskeys out of Texas. There's a certain kind of funk on Texas whiskeys that seemed to kind of be the theme of everything I was tasting. So the Iron Root Saints Alley collaboration, they had a few different finishes. Those were really good. The Prometheum is actually one that I gave to my husband that he really liked. But I liked the oh my gosh, what is that word that I always forget? Starts with an A. Uh, do I have Armagnac? Armagnac finished. It was super good. It was not too sweet. Held out a long time on the end. It's only a couple years old, the whole thing. So I liked
Very
that.
cool.
And there was a honey finish that came out of Lone Elm that kind of seemed to be the consensus that we all enjoyed that. Even a lot of the people that aren't huge fans of finished really seem to like that honey finish from Lone Elm. They're going to release that in a couple of weeks. So I'm hoping to get my hands on one. I know we can't get it here, but that's one that I will probably actively look for. So,
Nice. That's
okay.
good.
So
Steve,
you're
a
doing
tasting that's making
batch.
you hungry.
What batch are you doing it? I'm so sorry.
Batch 6.
Okay. And I'm doing batch 3. Okay. Donald Rance, what Irish whiskeys do you have? review some Irish whiskeys. We could do that. That would be good.
I do not have any Irish whiskey.
I can help you with that. I love Irish whiskey, so
Yeah, I
that would be
haven't, I don't
fun.
believe I've had any before. So that'll be
Okay.
new for me.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Donald. That's actually I would enjoy that a lot, especially if you don't have any. I'd love to do
No.
that. I love doing stuff I don't have, so for me to do that.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe to Whiskey Encore. He comes on Tuesday after the Bourbon Junkies and late night on Saturday. So make sure
It's
you
a
subscribe.
wonderful pub style, laid back, good conversation with good friends. And he's been our, between him and William, they've been our big supporters. He does a lot of our behind the scenes stuff. So we very much appreciate him.
Yes,
Okay, what do
he's
you get on
Whiskey.
your nose, Jen?
I definitely get the caramel in it and kind of like a smoky thing.
Okay. Like a hickory smoke or like a campfire smoke?
It's more like a barbecue smoke.
Oh, okay. This is for 138 on this batch 3, I don't it doesn't smell like it's that high of proof. Kind of like peach cobbler and leather. I don't know.
A leather
I probably
seems
should
to
have looked up
be
all the
a
tasting notes.
theme on their whiskeys because the one that I had before had a leather note in it as well.
Well,
The
and
age
just
on
the
it.
ones that I've tried tonight seem to have a lot of the like doughy kind of toast or dough, one of the two on them, it seems like. Oh my gosh. Even some oak, I think, on the smell. I don't know. I'm going to go in. Oh, that's way different than the smell. Yes, Donna Rance, let's do that. That would be great. That would be great. Don't forget to
I
check out Independent Joe's channel, by the way. Another great pub style, newer channel. Lots of people coming in and supporting him with an amazing fundraiser going on right now. Okay, so how's your taste compared to the nose?
It actually kind of matches. So I get the smoke, the smoky flavor on it, and then I also get the leather note on it. But the caramel seems to go away the longer that I sip on it and let it in my mouth. The caramel goes away, and then the smoky takes over that kind of finish in my mouth. And then there's definitely a spicy at the end.
What's the proof on that one?
It's 134.6.
Okay. Does it drink hot? Is it like that?
No, it
Okay.
actually doesn't. It's actually less hot than the one that I had before.
This drinks hot. It drinks hotter for me than I thought it would because, I mean, I know it's a higher proof, but the nose did not come off like it was going to be hot at all. And it definitely does right in the front, like smacks you. But I get tree bark, you know, like I would
Yes.
say like oak or I don't know what kind of tree it is, but like the bark off of a tree, like that falls off dead. I don't know.
No, I know what you're saying.
Steve, I was happy to meet so many people. Leanne from Scotch on the Bayou, what a sweet lady that was. I'd met her 2 years ago, but we didn't really chat. I'm looking forward to getting some time to chat with her again. But Irene Tan was hands down so much fun to sit and talk whiskey with and pick her brain. And then the next day, just kind of hang out and have breakfast. Oh, yeah, she went to Iron Cactus with us too for brunch.
Oh, very
So,
nice.
yeah, it was fun. Okay, no one hate me. I don't like this.
I like the bourbon.
I liked the other ones. But this, I I would be mad if I bought a bottle of this. I don't care
I think
for it.
that's my biggest thing on whiskey overall is you buy a bottle and you taste it and
Mm-mm.
then you have a 60 to $200 bottle of whiskey that you don't like.
Yeah. Oh. Mm-mm.
So I think the samples and the taste is definitely a good route to go if you have that available,
Mm-hmm.
instead of putting in, 100 or more on something
Right.
that you may not like.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what's kind of cool about some of these meetups that we're doing, and things like the Bastards Ball or Whiskey Weekend or Colorado meetup or Idaho meetup or Las Vegas meetup. You get to taste other things and meet people.
Yeah, and I mean, old
Aiden,
Carters are $200 and over a
we were trying
bottle.
different
So
things, Jen and I both actually. Um, the American Whiskey's Old Carter, different batches. The one I didn't care for is the batch 3. I just got some weird feedback. Is there something going on?
Aiden, I'm having the Old Carter Straight American Whiskey Batch 6 is what I'm currently drinking.
Okay. Jen, can you hear me? Because I think I just got some weird thing going
Yeah,
on.
I can hear you fine. You're good on my
Oh,
end.
okay. So it must just be that I was trying to work without my, um, me and my lovely technical difficulties because I'm still quite the novice at this. So let's see if that helps. Okay.
So, out of the three that I have tasted today, I like the first one that I had, which was the bourbon one. The batch 10 was my favorite out of the three. I really liked the finish on that one, and the flavor went all the way through the palate. It didn't fall at any certain point through the taste. So that would be my favorite out of the three that I drank this evening.
Okay. Um, so I have one more. I think you had the 3, right?
Yes,
Okay.
I pulled Cheech's three old Carters.
Well, I don't have any. I got these from someone else. So
All right, so I'm going back to the first one that I had, which is actually almost gone because it was that good.
I'm gonna try. It's my last one that I have to try. It's called the Old Carter Rye Batch 3. It's 116 proof. Like I said, I probably should have started with this one, but I'm not a rye fan, so I'm saving this one for the end.
Oh, I really like ryes. That's actually what got me into drinking whiskey was ryes.
Yeah, you said
I really
that.
like them. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Do you like the dill note or more of the minty note?
I like the minty note.
Okay. Well, fingers crossed on this.
Yeah. And the spice on it is good. I like the finish on ryes. I like the way it feels once it hits the back of your cheeks. I enjoy that.
So 21090 says Old Carter Rye Batch 7 is divine. All right, well, maybe there's hope for this batch 3.
I hold out hope.
It's a really light nose. And I hate people that say this note, but it really is the one that comes out at the beginning is caramel. It's like a big smack of caramel right off the bat, but like a
My
burnt
stall likes your
caramel.
lighting, Michelle.
Ah, thanks. I actually, this is pretty hodgepodge together because my lights haven't gotten here yet. So if you could see what is actually behind my camera, you'd probably laugh. Like, no, you would laugh, but you would tell me that I'm genius for what we pieced together today. Okay, it's like a burnt caramel, like if you're making Christmas candy, like if that makes sense.
Yes, almost like a creme brulee thing. Maybe like
Yeah, yeah,
the
like a
burnt one.
creme
Mhm.
brulee. I never think of that. Everybody says it, but I don't ever think of it. That's exactly what it's like.
Yeah, it's a very good dessert if you haven't had it. I think that Bourbon wanted to know the batch three if it was the bourbon or the American batch
It's
that
the
you did.
American.
Okay.
Yeah. Um,
All
I
right,
did
Steve.
the bourbon batch 7, which I liked. Of the
Let's see,
OCs.
Steve. I like the bourbon batch one that I had first. It was very good. I would buy it for the $200
Yeah.
for the
And I
bottle.
liked
It was
the
the bourbon
bourbon
10.
batch 7 that I did. Yeah. But
Yeah, I
this
definitely like the
one,
bourbon 10.
I like this one too. This one's good.
Oh, good. You like a rye?
You what?
You like a rye?
Shh. No, I'm just kidding. I forgot I was drinking it right. I do. I like it. That's hilarious.
Oh,
Um,
nice. 210.90. They found out on their stream that Sherry blended the OC batch 7 rye.
oh,
Sherry Carter.
nice.
And they said, thanks for that info, Todd. I did not know that. That's very interesting.
This has a tangy finish. I don't know what it is. Something kind of makes you pucker in the back when it comes back around. I'm really bad at those kind of notes, so I don't even know how to explain it other than like maybe like a sour piece of candy that you would have, like maybe a lemon head.
Lemonhead
Yeah.
or a Sour Patch Kid, is it more like sour than sweet or just sour all the way through?
Probably sour, more like a lemon head, I think, but it's really quick. And then the rest of the finish just kind of glides through. So it's a very long lasting finish with just that moment of tang. I like it a
Nice.
lot.
Good job, Bourbon, on getting Adriana to like a rye because ryes are delicious. So
Eh,
people should drink them.
they're all right. I think it depends. I am learning to like more and more ryes. I had to open my mind to try them. And that's kind of what we kind of were talking about with Women of Whiskeys when we first started out as that private Facebook group, is a place to have those conversations and be like, because I tend to go, I don't like rye or I don't like scotch. And it's so easy to get stuck in that, that hole of that's a fact. It's versus knowing, like you said, there's a gazillion different kinds to try.
Yeah, so I think that's where the blinds actually can come in to help a lot with that. Because if you don't know what you're tasting, you're not going to have a preconceived notion of if you're going to like it or not,
Right.
because it's a rye or, a honey finish or anything like that. So if you don't know what you're tasting, you're going into it completely blank and not knowing. So you may end up liking something that you normally wouldn't because of your like, oh, I don't like rye, so I'm not going to buy
Mm-hmm.
that or I'm not going to try this. So I think the blinds are good when people send them to you because it does give you an opportunity to taste different things and maybe like something you wouldn't normally have.
Absolutely. Jason, the mash and drum daily pours. I don't know. Jason's asking like what did I lost it. Where'd he go? Curious what you guys see as everyday pours for you. What does your palate gravitate to?
So I really like the Cooper's Craft is a good one. The Cooper's Craft 100, and then I also really enjoy Michter's. I like a lot of different types of Michter's actually. So the toasted rye is actually my favorite. And then Bourbon gave that to Adriana, so that was a great move. So I like those. Michter's is definitely one that I really like
Mm-hmm.
a lot. And then the Chattanooga whiskey I like. They have a bunch of different finish. Their port finish is great. The tequila finish I really like, which I didn't know how I was going to like that because I like tequila anyway. But it was weird, but it was very tasty. And I really enjoyed it. So those are probably the three that I would gravitate towards more as a daily pour.
So we kind of have a joke in my house that the things I would gravitate towards for a daily drinker, I can't afford to have as a daily drinker. Um, but I used to be able to, like Eagle Rare, it used to be our daily drinker. It sat on my everyday pour. Luckily, every time we saw it, we would buy it because it was on every shelf all the time and it was MSRP. We can't find it now here. So I'm glad I have some backups because I absolutely love to start my night with that. Um, we all know I love my Elijah Craig 18 or the C920, but you can't really do that as an everyday pour. gosh, I kind of
No.
mix it up. I do like the Michters. I like Henry McKenna. Not as much as I used to. I think my palate's changing. They're getting a little sweet for me. Um, what else do I have up here? Um,
Um, the 100 proofers are good daily drinkers
yeah,
because they're smooth, they're not too high, so you can have more than a few if you'd like. But I think that with the 100 range, you're gonna have a pretty good flavor palette with it. I think sometimes with the higher whiskeys, it's just hot and you lose
yeah.
kind of the flavor that you're trying to find in it. So I think the 100 is a really good range to be in for flavor for me.
I definitely like the lower proofs in the beginning of my evening. Again, like I like the C920s, but I like the lower proof of the EC18. There's some great new stuff coming out. I definitely I saw Jason mention the Wild Turkey 101. I can't believe I forgot that. I absolutely love Wild Turkey 101. Um, some of those powers. We were talking about Irish whiskey. I was just telling a girl, she's like, I only drink Jameson. I said, okay, you should try Powers. You should just give it a shot. If you like Jameson, give Powers a shot. You know,
Absolutely. The 101 rye is good.
maybe,
You
maybe
should
I'll
give
try it.
it.
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, just give it a shot. Just give it a taste. You could also actually use the 101 rye in a cocktail. So if you don't like it neat, you may like it in a cocktail with other things.
I'm super excited. So, in our criminals and cocktails that we're doing on the last Wednesday of every month, Jen is in charge of cocktails because I'm going to learn from her. I'm not a huge cocktail person, but I think I could be. So, she is going to make some fantastic cocktails. We will announce it the week before. Me just getting back yesterday from Austin, I didn't get time to talk with her and get everything put together to put in the description today, but we will announce it on our Instagram and try and get it out there what ingredients are for the cocktails next week.
Yes.
Um, so that if you want to make along with us, you can. And we are going to be covering the case of Cheryl Keaton and making cocktails.
Yes.
So,
So the first cocktail I'm actually going to make is a classic, and that's the old fashioned. It is a classic cocktail that you can get at any establishment, and when it's done correctly, tastes delicious. So I'm definitely excited because it's not very hard to make, and you don't need to have like a ton of ingredients to make it. So it's going to be good. So I think it'll be a good start for our first case.
yay. I'm so excited.
I am too. It's going to be awesome. I'm very excited about it.
So I think we have pretty much decided that our Wednesdays are going to run roughly an hour
Yes.
following Jason the Mash and Drum. And sometimes on our last Wednesday of the month, those cases might run a little longer and we want to have some time to discuss it after the fact. So those might run 90 minutes on those last Wednesdays of the month. So
Absolutely.
um, we're probably going to start wrapping up, I assume.
Yep. Good night, old man Joe. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Ah, good night. Steve says, Jen, please share cocktails. My wife enjoys her bourbon that way and would love to share with her your best.
Oh, perfect. Absolutely.
And if she is a member of the private women only Facebook group, I'm sure we're going to be discussing those way before it even happens. So
Absolutely.
that's also a thought. Jen, what was your favorite out of tonight that we did?
So that would be bourbon, the bourbon 10, bourbon batch 10 would be my
Okay.
favorite. That
What
was
what
the
was your
best one.
second favorite?
That is going to be the batch 6 was my second one.
Okay. So I think I would say my first was the Old Carter Bourbon Batch 7, followed by, can't believe this is even coming out of my mouth, the Old Carter Rye Batch
Yay.
3.
I'm so proud of you.
That's why you keep trying stuff.
Yes,
I might
exactly.
deny it at a later date, but right now that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm happy like cuz Cheech makes me taste stuff. So I'm very fortunate to have him be like, you need to taste this. You'll like this. That's one benefit of being with someone for a while. They definitely know what you gravitate towards.
Yeah.
So I'm very spoiled that I get to try good whiskeys because he knows how to pick them out.
And that's how we start, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
I'd love to say I just came out of the womb wanting whiskey, but that's not how it worked.
Definitely not. And Cheech has been a whiskey drinker for quite some time. So I've always been the non whiskey person. I went tequila, went vodka between those two for a while. Um, and then I had to stop those and try something else. And because I switched from the drinking mind of, hey, I'm going to sit here and just do shots until I'm hammered,
Whew.
to actually enjoying what you're drinking.
Yeah.
So now that I've made that turn, I'm able to taste whiskey and enjoy it and see where it goes. But it also has helped with tequila because you can taste the tequila and all that now that I'm not just slamming shots and understanding what it is and the flavors and everything that goes into it. It definitely brings more to the table on that aspect of it.
Oh my gosh, Mike Stahl, just stop.
Oh, hi, Bobby's daughter. Thanks.
Oh, hello. I'm so glad you're here.
Yes. Thanks for
Okay,
coming.
everybody,
He's
thank you
very
so
cool.
much for joining us. I cannot believe how, I can believe this amazing community supporting us. It's such a great people. So hopefully we get to see you all next week as we finally kick off our Criminals and Cocktails. If you
Yes.
love to listen to true crime and hear the actual story and how it went down and then drink a little whiskey at the same time, I think you might enjoy it. So,
Absolutely. Come hang out with us. We're gonna have a good time.
Jen, thanks again. This has been great. Let's do
Absolutely.
it
It's
again in
awesome
a
to see you.
week. All right. Good night,
All right.
all.
Good night, everyone. Cheers.